There is no sound in space, but that is not the most disturbing thing about the emptiest place ever measured. Boomerang Nebula sits 5,000 light-years away, and its temperature drops to just 1 Kelvin, colder than the leftover glow of the Big Bang itself. But what's even crazier is that emptiness like this is not rare in the universe. It is the default. Silence is not peaceful out there. Silence is what's left after everything has already gone wrong. The void between galaxies is the first stop on this descent into cosmic silence, and it is bigger than anything you have ever tried to picture. These regions, called cosmic voids, can stretch for hundreds of millions of light-years without a single star. No light, no warmth, no sound to travel through the nothing, because there is no air to carry it. If you drifted into the center of one, the nearest galaxy would be so far away, its light would take longer to reach you than humans have existed. Right now, over 80% of the universe's volume is made of voids like this one. But the next kind of silence is not just empty. It is actively hiding something. Rogue planets drift through that darkness with no star to call home, and this is where absence turns into a genuine threat. These are worlds ejected from their solar systems, tumbling through the galaxy in permanent night. Astronomers estimate there could be billions of them in the Milky Way alone, drifting unseen because they emit no light of their own. Take a planet like Earth, strip away the sun, and you get a frozen ball of rock forever in the dark, its oceans turned solid, its skies empty of any star to mark the passage of time. Here is the unsettling part. One could pass through our solar system, and we would have almost no warning before it arrived. And that uncertainty is exactly what makes the next entry so unnerving, because it applies to something far larger than a planet. Rogue black holes wander the galaxy completely invisible, carrying no light, no glow, no signature except their gravity. Scientists believe the Milky Way could contain 100 million stellar mass black holes, and most of them are not anchored to any visible companion star. No accretion disk, no flare, no telltale signal. Just a gap in space where mass exists and nothing shines. In 2022, astronomers confirmed the first isolated rogue black hole ever detected, drifting alone roughly 5,000 light-years from Earth, found only by the way its gravity bent the light of a star behind it. But the next entry does not just hide in silence, it creates it. Sound cannot survive at all inside the vacuum of true interstellar space, and this is where the deadliest kind of quiet begins. Between stars, gas becomes so thin that molecules barely ever collide, and without collisions there is no medium for sound waves to move through. This is not simply loud, gone quiet. It is a total absence of the physical mechanism that carries every sound you have ever heard. If you screamed inside that vacuum, the sound would not fade into the distance. It would fail to exist beyond your own mouth. This same vacuum is also lethal to any exposed body within seconds, not through explosion, but through the simple, complete removal of pressure and air. So what happens if that silence has a source, something built specifically to consume rather than simply exist within it? Black holes are the next chapter in this story, and they are where quiet becomes something closer to erasure. A black hole forms when mass collapses so densely that gravity overwhelms every other force, creating a boundary called the event horizon where not even light can escape. Cygnus 10.1 was one of the first black holes ever confirmed, discovered through X-ray observations in the 1970s, and it contains about 21 times the mass of our Sun packed into a region barely larger than a city. If you have made it this far into the darkest corners of the universe, drop a like right now, because the next entry is a black hole so large it can swallow the light of galaxies without changing its outward appearance at all. Supermassive black holes sit at the center of nearly every galaxy, and this is where the scale becomes genuinely difficult to hold in your mind. Sagittarius A star, the black hole at the heart of our own Milky Way, was directly imaged in 2022 and contains roughly 4 million times the mass of our Sun. Despite that staggering mass, from Earth it appears no larger than a tennis ball would look sitting on the surface of the Moon. It sits at the center of our galaxy like a lion sleeping in total darkness, its gravity holding hundreds of billions of stars in careful orbit around a silence none of them can escape. But even Sagittarius A star is nowhere near the largest one we have found. Ton 618 changes the scale of everything that came before it, because this is a black hole so enormous it strains the definition of the word itself. It contains an estimated 66 billion solar masses, making it one of the most massive black holes ever measured. Its event horizon alone is larger than the entire orbit of Pluto around our Sun, and yet even an object of that scale exists in total silence, radiating no sound, announcing itself only through the way it distorts light and motion around it. The stillness of something that large is almost impossible to reconcile with how violently it can behave. But there is a kind of quiet, older, and stranger than any black hole, one written into the structure of matter itself. Neutron stars are what remains after a massive star collapses, and this is where density stops making intuitive sense. A neutron star packs more mass than our Sun into a sphere only about 20 kilometers across, meaning a single sugar cube-sized piece of it would weigh billions of tons on Earth. No gaps, no empty space between particles, just matter crushed into something almost unrecognizable as ordinary material. Some of these objects, called magnetars, generate magnetic fields trillions of times stronger than Earth's, fields powerful enough to disrupt the structure of atoms from thousands of kilometers away. But the next silence on this list is not made of matter at all. Empty space itself may not be as stable as it appears, and this is where the universe stops feeling safe even in its stillness. According to a leading theory in physics, the vacuum we live in could be what's called a false vacuum, a low-energy state that only seems permanent. If a region ever shifted into a lower-energy, true vacuum, the change would spread outward at the speed of light, rewriting the fundamental rules of physics as it moved. There would be no warning, no sound, no light arriving ahead of the boundary itself. Only the rules of reality changing first, and any signal of that change arriving second, too late to matter. Physicists have never observed this happen, and if it has never happened anywhere in our observable universe, that may only be because we are still here to ask the question. And that same unresolved uncertainty leads directly to the final, quietest place of all. Beyond every void, every wandering world, every silent giant, there is the boundary of the observable universe itself, roughly 46 billion light-years away in every direction. Past that edge, light has simply not had time to reach us since the beginning of the universe nearly 14 billion years ago. It is not that nothing exists out there. It is that we may never be able to know because the information required to find out may never arrive. No signal, no data, no way to close that particular silence, ever. That is the quietest place of all, not because it is empty, but because it may be permanently unknowable. If you are not ready to leave that thought behind just yet, there is a full playlist waiting that goes even further into the darkest, strangest corners of the universe. Subscribe before the next void finds you first, and take a breath, because out here, silence is never really empty.